that off before I get copyrighted. How are you doing? I've got a cold. Interesting actually, because little Zizi got a cold, and then after about 3 days or 4 days of being, you know, like unwell, we seem to have got the same thing, you know. So it gives me pause for thought on this, you know, like how vibrations or germs or whatever viruses are passed around, because we've lived in close proximity with each other for the last few years all the time, and there've been probably 2 other occasions where we've kind of all gone down at the same time. And even perhaps, I was saying to Andrea this morning, like, we've had a few more colds in the last few years than, you know, when we were stable in the same house all the time. And we do wonder about whether this is about people's energy, you know, like coming into other people's energetic space. We even, one place we stayed in, I think that they'd taken the needle just before we got there, and we might have gotten sick through the shedding bullshit. You know, I'm obviously hopeful that the shedding is not really a thing, or if it is, it's a minor thing. But we have been around people who are needled up to the hoot, the toot, the nines. I've got myself a Twitter account in the last few days, mainly because I'm trying to find another place to have conversations, debates, arguments, whatever, with people, to try and stimulate, you know, contribution from myself. You know, my sub count is pretty much the same for the last year, and you know, my stuff doesn't get shared, or certainly doesn't get YouTube support. So, you know, it's great seeing the same people, and I appreciate you watching my videos and so on, but yeah, I'm looking for some new avenues, some new, yeah. He's got tattoos all over her legs and arms. Not sure about that anymore. Everyone to their own. But feeling a sense of, oh yeah, that was it, the Twitter thing, because I mean, it is a little annoying that, you know, it's obviously bought by Elon Skunk, which is just deep state money, and he's just the puppet. We all know that. I assume you know that. But it's really about trying to reach. I think JT had sent me a link to a guy, he's flat earther, who has 300,000 subscribers on X. So that's quite remarkable for our community. She just bumped the car going backwards. No, not good. Sorry, darling. Oh, that sucks. They were both going out at the same time. Oh, she must have done some damage, surely. They bumped. She'll be grateful not to have to pick up insurance costs and whatnot. I kind of get that. How did that happen? I mean, I saw that kind of unfolding, actually. Only the second or so before. It is a little buckled, I'm sure. This girl's got away with it lightly. Anyway, I tell you who also has got away with it lightly is these clowns that, you know, I was watching this video. This is the point. I was watching this video on Twitter talking about the last 4 years, 2020, the propaganda, the evidence for pandemic, the evidence that safe and effective was just was real or just made up. And then of course you come across people who are severely injured, aside from those who died suddenly, and you go, and we're complaining about we're focused on Palestine. You know, awful as that may be, it's like they've given us the next George Floyd to go and fight over, you know. And they've used the usual suspects to dangle as either, yeah, they deserve it, or how dare you, you know, treat these people in this way. So it's horrific what was done to people, old people, young people, you know, people that were passing without loved ones around them. And then of course the needle program, which has devastated many people's health. But the interesting thing is that it's divisive, because in a comment section that I was looking at, or on, maybe not attached to this video, but well, certainly in this video, one girl who had, she's quite well known now for having become 14-year-old girl. I think she was part of the original AV trial, or the other one, Pfizer trial, and she's very sick now and mostly in a wheelchair. And people have been derisive and awful to her, saying, you are creating this, it's not real, you were already sick, you broke your neck in a car crash or something, this is not to do with the needle, because people do not want to face up to that lie. Just like the Globe, they do not want to face up that lie. Yeah. So it's awful that, you know, people are suffering in silence. This guy who runs this American self-help group with people who've got vax injury, he says, you know, that we've had, in our last month, at the time of making this video, I can't tell you when that was, but in our last month, 5 people committed suicide because they can't even talk to their family. Their family would say, no, you're making this up. Haven't we seen enough people say, you know, I've gone to the medics, the poor doctored, indoctrinated doctors, and they've told me that it's psychosomatic, it's something in my head, it's not real, blah, blah, blah. I've gone for, you know, an injury payment or something like that, or some support because I can't work anymore. I'm being laughed off by the system. They don't want to help me. I don't know how long this goes on for, and whether it's just, as I've said many times over the years, they're going to just give people the next thing to focus on so that we forget, or, you know, we've moved on from that. Death rates are up from 2020, pre-2020. The pandemic was a pandemic of fear. It was designed, it was created almost, yeah, to fulfill an agenda. And it was a stepping stone. So where does that stepping stone lead us? See my video from this morning, they are spraying this guy quite constantly today. Quite a bit lately, of late. I even wondered whether some of this illness we came down with wasn't stimulated by it. In the car, I haven't driven it for 3 or 4 days, but it's kind of covered with a patina of white dust, which doesn't really fit with the countryside, away from most things setting that we're in. You know, it's in the air. The car is actually under a carport, so it's in the ether. It's just moving around. It's like if you chlorinate a pool, you know, you've got chlorine just moving around inside the ether of the pool, inside the soup that is pool water. Yeah. So I'm doing a talk at the end of the month in Bournemouth, so I probably mentioned that enough times, so you don't need to have me bang on about it. But if you're nearby, just come on down. It'd be nice to see you. Hopefully I've still got some hair left. See, it's still dropping out here. It's growing back in patches, I'm happy to report, but I haven't quite. I need to stop coffee for a while because I need to kind of hit the MMS, and you can't really do the two simultaneously. I have been doing the methylene blue, and that may be why I've had some regrowth already in this area and the eyebrow, but hard to be absolute on these things. Yeah, so yeah, I heard David Weiss is coming to town, actually to England. He's invited to speak at a thing, so maybe I can get to speak there too. Yeah, if you watch me in 2018 and 19, you know that I'm one of the strongest speakers on the flat earth. You know, there are some great speakers today that have come through since then, but still. It's part of my destiny, I think, to overcome this thing of being the understudy. It has dogged me my lifetime, believe it or not. So there's a little bit of personal info. Have a nice day.